Hello, moviegoers. We need to have a talk. So recently, San Diego Comic Con, the Ryan Coogler announced that there will be a new Black Panther. And a lot of us were thinking we were going to get Damson Idris. But Ryan Coogler and Kevin Feige threw a curveball. Instead of Damson Idris, it's actually David Jonsson. And what I've seen on the internet, it's been split. There's some people that say he's perfect for it. If you've seen him in The Long Walk, if you've seen him in Alien Romulus, he's an amazing actor. He has more range than Damson Idris. These are the things that people are saying. And then on the other hand, people are saying like Damson, it was right there in front of you. He wanted the role. There was fan art that was putting him in the costume. It just made sense for him to be it. He's a much bigger star. Things of that nature. This is what people are saying. So I'll just share my thoughts on it. For me, I have seen The Long Walk and I've seen Snowfall. I haven't seen Alien. My first impression of The Long Walk was I thought the premise was dope. You know, this competition where if a person stops walking or they walk too slow, like essentially they die, and the person that lasts the longest, they win like a cash prize or something like that. I thought that was like a dope concept. It's Stephen King, based off of a Stephen King book. So in there, David Johnson's character, and I don't remember the character's name, but one thing I do remember vividly watching that is I was like, oh, this is a dope movie. But what I do remember is I was sitting in the theater and I was like, this dude is not American. Like I could just hear it in his, like, in the way he was speaking, the way he was saying his words, some of the lingo when he started to improv a little bit. You could kind of see like, oh, this guy's not American. And lo and behold, when I got out of the movie, I typed in the character, the cast, I clicked his name, and it showed that he was from the UK or, you know, somewhere over there in England, right? Which is, there's nothing wrong with that. That was just my experience in seeing him acting for the first time. And I was thrown off a lot of the time because of how he was kind of in and out of his accent. And he was supposed to be from like New Orleans or something like that. And he just kind of, you could tell like certain words were a little difficult for him to kind of stay in that Southern draw. So that's what I would say about David. And the performance was good. He seemed to be like charismatic, but I just think for me, when I'm hearing this accent kind of slip in and out, it kind of it takes me out of the movie, and that happened to me watching The Long Walk. So I'll tell you my experience watching Snowfall. I'm watching, not even watching it yet. I'm just like hearing people talk about it. And you seeing clips kind of floating around the internet and stuff like that. This kid from LA, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then you get into the like behind the scenes, you know, I mean, you're watching it, you're like, oh, this is like probably like a kid from, like, he's probably from LA, just young actor, just getting an opportunity or whatever. And then you see him in the little interviews and he's like, yeah, I'm just from, you know, from London. And, you know, like he just has his, and that was a terrible accent, but he just has like, it was shocking to me. It was shocking to me that somebody that sounded like that would be not from America. And that let me know like, oh, this kid is different, you know? And it was like, in the way he does it, it's like it's a very LA accent, you know, like if you listen to like a YG or Nipsey Hussle or something, like it has that sort of like rhythm and tone to it. So that let me know like how involved he is and how good he is at. I mean, he's good at impressions, but that's not really an impression. He's just doing a an accent for that for Franklin Saint. So that's kind of like what I was looking at. And then for me personally, I'm just more of a fan of Damson. After, Snowfall, he crushed it, obviously. I think it was like 6 seasons. And that, I think when I think throughout it, I realized he was a really good actor. But when it came to that last season, and he's like so desperate to get this get that, like he keeps digging himself into a hole, and he just has to figure out a way to to get out of there. And he's in there, and then at the end, his mom like basically, I forget what, I think she like kills the guy where he was about to get the code, and he's like it's just like he's just like going through all the emotions. So that's like his journey from like Franklin Saint. And then the like that's not even the finale though. Like, and then the finale, he's like the drunk that's just roaming around LA, like dirty tank top, nappy hair, just like asking people for money, and then you see that literally in an episode, like that whole shift into an entirely different person almost. So that's when I was like, dang, this dude is good. Like, I can't really say anything negative about him as an actor. Like I got no critiques. It wasn't like, oh, his accent is slipping. It was like nothing to say at all except like, yo, you did that. So that's what I would. So if I'm, Ryan Coogler, and they give me the opportunity to direct Black Panther, you do your due diligence. You're probably going to meet with, different actors and maybe do some chemistry things and stuff like that. But when you see that level of acting, I'm like, yo. And then he goes and does F1, and F1 is like, it's not as dramatic, but he just shows he has like, it's more of like a charisma sort of thing, like the young hot shot that, it knows it all, and he's doing. And that movie ended up being pretty good. Brad Pitt is the star in that movie, but I feel like he held his own, and it was much different than his character on Snowfall. So those are the reasons why I believed it should have been Damson Idris. I think that I don't know what Ryan Coogler was thinking in terms of that character. I'm only thinking about it from the outside, not knowing what Black Panther 3 is going to be about. What he was saying, and I'd seen an excerpt from an interview where he secretly met with David in a hotel, and I guess they talked for a little bit, and just I don't know what they talked about, but I guess leaving that conversation, he really had a strong conviction that this is the next Black Panther. So that's what I would say about like what I wanted in terms of the next T'Challa or the next Black Panther. To go along with that, I would say what the possibilities are of as far as like why this could have been the situation. It could be a thing because he wants it to be like a Tom Holland situation, right? We know Tom Holland was like dang near 30 playing a teenager, but it could be a situation where, you want T'Challa, he's going to be like 16 years old or something like that. And even though David Jonsson is like 30 years old, certain lighting and stuff, he does look like he looks a little younger. I don't even think he probably doesn't even really go facial hair like that. So that could be part of the thing. Same way Tom Holland, it's like, dog, the gig is up. We know you 30 something years old, but you still playing this high school kid. It's just like, okay. So that could be a thing. It could be a thing, like I said, where he just wants a younger T'Challa to kind of, because the time is going to be, I don't know how many years. The movie comes out in December of 2028. I don't remember when the last Black Panther came out, but I just know that they probably that's what they could have been thinking. So, and I think it could be, and I hope this is a situation. I think it could be a situation similar to how Childish Gambino kind of timed out of Miles Morales. Like if you know internet lore, you know that Childish Gambino was the person that kind of made the idea, him and along with some other like Twitter people, but they made this idea of like a black Spider-Man. You would have to go back and look at the tweets and stuff like that. But he was the one that kind of talked about it first. So then, a couple years later, like Miles Morales comes out and it's not Black Peter Parker. It's just Miles Morales. He's like a different Spider-Man, which is cool because you don't have to like make anybody mad. He's his own person. So what ended up happening was when they made the movie and they obviously couldn't cast Donald Glover, and he kind of realized it as well because at the time he was probably like late 30s or something like that. He kind of timed out of the role, but what they were able to do was still give him a role in it to where he was playing his uncle. I forget the uncle's name, but he's playing his uncle in the movie. So they were able to give him like a role in it, and it was just different than the original one. But that's kind of how they played it out. So I say that to say I think that there's a world where Ryan Coogler and Damson had a conversation like, yo, I know, we're going a little bit younger for this role. Obviously, we know the talent speaks for itself, but play this villain or play this other character. And there's a couple other characters, I believe, that that he could play. I think there's something about voodoo. Let's see. Let me actually look it up so I'm not. Voodoo Man. I think that's his name. Our brother Voodoo. His name is Jericho Drum. And some people think that that's going to be the villain in Black Panther 3. And me personally, if that's the case, like, it makes sense. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we don't got him for T'Challa because, just aesthetically, like, we want somebody a little younger. Obviously, Damson is also a little taller than David Jonsson is. David Jonsson is shorter than Ryan Coogler. I don't know, he's probably like 5'6" or something like that. So just stature-wise, in terms of him being a young person, like, that makes sense, okay? But hey, Damson, you're not going to play T'Challa. We're going to go a little younger we want to be able to build it up. But we do have this other villain for you, and his name is Brother Voodoo, and you would be perfect for it, right? So that's what I'm possibly thinking, because it just, for him, Damson, to be, just so talented, it just makes sense for him to be in that world. And I feel like but a lot of the talented Black actors have had an opportunity to not only work with Ryan Coogler, but to be in his world in some capacity. And I can only like hope for, that relationship to be there, to see them to see their teamwork seen on a big screen. So that's my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think. I know this was kind of a longer video, but I just wanted to share all of my thoughts about what's going on in the Black Panther cinematic universe. You feel me? And like I said, regardless, I trust Ryan Coogler. I think for the most part, he's like, the way he bet on Michael B. Jordan early on. He didn't pick Chadwick Boseman, but even trusting that Michael B. Jordan can go from Adonis to Killmonger and, to Smoke and this and Stack, like that type of belief, and then Delroy Lindo, and like all these kind of choices that he's making. He's always made the right choice. So I can only believe that he's going to do the right thing by this. I just think this was probably the first time in his career where I was like, I don't know, that's not what I would have done. But maybe there's a bigger picture to it. You know what I mean? Maybe there's something that I'm not necessarily seeing. So to go back to what I had said earlier, I'm looking it up now, and mind you, it's super late, so my brain is like whatever. But Aaron Davis is the character that Donald Glover was playing inside of the Spider-Man thing, and then it kind of fizzled out because I don't know what happened. But you seen him pop up in the Miles Morales Spider-Verse, the second one. So he popped up in there, and then Aaron Davis is like also the Prowler. But then I don't even know what's going on with that. But anyways, that is besides the point. But all in all, just to summarize what I was saying, initially when I seen it, I was genuinely disappointed. But I believe David Jonsson is a talented actor. I'm just saying in comparison to what I've seen from Damson, just me personally, that's the route that I would have gone. And I don't even want it to be like controversial. Like I'm not arguing with people on the internet like, he should have been in it. It's like, to me, it's not that deep. And I think that he's going to have a strong support system and he's going to do an amazing job and they're going to have a dope story. But I just think even overall, like my investment into the Black Panther universe is kind of fizzled out. And I think that Damson would have kind of made it exciting again for me to see it, because that's somebody that I'm a fan of going into that world. But now I think I'm kind of leaning more on the story. Like, what's the story going to be? We also know that Denzel is going to be in there, so that's going to be exciting. But yeah, it's a lot of things that's up in the air. It's over a year and some change from now, so a lot can change in that time. But that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, and I will see y'all in the theaters. Peace.